Okay, we'd like to welcome everybody to the Town of Grand Falls-Windsor Council meeting number 599. The first thing to do is to call the meeting to order. And next up is the proclamations. We do have a couple this evening. First proclamation is for National Child Abuse Prevention Month. Whereas children are the foundation for a prosperous and innovative society, and the foundation for a child's growth and development is established when the community takes responsibility for creating healthy environments where our children can thrive. Whereas every child deserves to grow up in a safe, nurturing environment that fosters their physical, emotional, and social development. And whereas child abuse and neglect is an important societal concern that may affect the long-term health and well-being of not only children, but also the adults they become. Whereas child abuse and neglect impacts our entire society and our society's future. Whereas child abuse prevention is a shared responsibility and finding solutions requires the involvement and collaboration of citizens, organizations, and government entities. Whereas this month we call on individuals, families, communities, and organizations to recognize the devastating problem of child abuse and neglect and actively learn the signs of possible abuse. We urge everyone to seek resources, attend training, and spread awareness to ensure every child is safe, heard, and protected. We commit to creating a community where child abuse is recognized, reported, and prevented. Therefore, I, Barry Emanuel, do hereby proclaim the month of October 2024 to be National Child Abuse Prevention Month in the town of Grand Falls-Windsor, and I urge all citizens to work together to help reduce child abuse and neglect significantly in the years to come. The second proclamation is for Hope Air. It's Hope Air Day, Newfoundland and Labrador, on November the 5th, 2024. Whereas access to health care is a fundamental right for all citizens, regardless of their geographic location. Whereas Hope Air, a charitable organization, has been tirelessly dedicated to providing access to health care by facilitating free flights and other services for patients living in rural, remote, and underserved communities in Newfoundland and Labrador, ensuring they can receive vital medical treatment regardless of distance or financial means. Whereas Hope Air has been instrumental in bridging the gap between smaller communities and hospitals far from home, reducing the geographic and cost barriers that often prevent individuals from reaching medical care. Whereas the impact of Hope Air extends beyond the individual patients served, positively affecting families, communities, and the healthcare system as a whole by promoting wellness and reducing the burden of untreated medical conditions. Whereas the compassion, dedication, and commitment demonstrated by Hope Air and its volunteers embody the spirit of community and the belief in the inherent value of every individual's well-being. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the town of Grand Falls-Windsor has November the 5th, 2024, known as Hope Air Day, in recognition of the invaluable contributions made by Hope Air to the health and wellness of every resident in Newfoundland and Labrador. We urge all citizens to join us in celebrating Hope Air Day and reflect on the significance of ensuring equitable access to health care for all members of our society, letting us reaffirm our commitment to supporting initiatives that promote health equity and extend our gratitude to Hope Air for their unwavering dedication to serving those in need. Okay, next up, I'll look for a motion to adopt the agenda, please. Moved by Councillor Hiscock, seconded by Councillor Knoll. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. Contrary-minded? Motion carried. Okay, the adoption of the minutes from meeting number 598. I'll look for a mover and a seconder. Moved by Councillor Little, seconded by Councillor Dwyer. Any discussion on the minutes of the last meeting? Hearing none. All those in favor? Aye. Contrary-minded? Motion carried. Any business arising out of the minutes? No business arising. We'll move on to the disbursement report. Councillor Dwyer, please.
Thank you, Mayor. I move the disbursement report dated October 10th, 2024 in the amount of $2,088,256.12.
Okay, it's been moved by Councillor Dwyer, seconded by Councillor Little. Any discussion on the disbursement report? Hearing none. All those in favor? Aye. Contrary-minded? Motion carried. Move into committee reports. First up, Community Services. Deputy Mayor Brown, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Community Services Committee met 5 p.m. Tuesday, October 8th, 2024. Those in attendance were myself as Chair, Councillor Holly Dwyer, Councillor Andrew Little, Councillor Amy Cody, Councillor Bob Hiscock, Councillor Dave Knoll. Staff in attendance, Darren Finn, our Chief Administrative Officer, Robin Hannaford, our Communications Officer, and Todd Mercer, Director of Community Services. First order of business was the Salmon Festival 2025 update. The Director of Community Services gave an update on the events planned for the 2025 Kelly Ford Exploits Valley Salmon Festival, including the schedule of events, entertainment booked, and the celebration of Gordon Pinson and his statue unveiling. The committee was very pleased with the acts and events and looked forward to the announcement early in the new year. The committee recommends setting up an outside committee led by Councillor Dwyer and staff from the Community Services to help plan for the unveiling of the bronze statue of Gordon Pinson and events associated with that weekend in his honour. Stadium update. The Director informed the committee that the mechanical issues with the Windsor Stadium plant have been completed in the short term and everything is running smoothly. Additional work will need to be completed on a regular basis moving forward, with new equipment being installed at the end of 2025. The Director informed the committee that the Joe Burr Memorial Stadium also has a mechanical issue and parts have been ordered. It is expected to be up and running at full capacity in the coming days, and it is hoped to be open for later next week. The committee recommended that Simcoe carry out an evaluation on both rinks to get an idea of the work required in the coming years. Community Garden correspondence. The committee reviewed a request from the Community Garden on setting up compost bins at their location. The committee recommended that the Community Services staff work with the group to find necessary grant funding required for the bins. The town will also help with the garden, as in years past, with topsoil and equipment when available. Seniors Wellness Update. The Director informed the committee that the department has received all good comments of this year's event with over 50 vendors and 800 plus people in attendance, and that plans are now underway for the 2025 event. Christmas Light Up and Parade. The Director of Community Services informed the committee that the annual Christmas Light Up at Church Row Park will take place on December 6th, and the annual Christmas Parade will take place on December 7th. Deputy Mayor Brown will chair the Christmas Parade Committee again this year. Festival of Flavors food event. The committee discussed the proposed culinary event scheduled to be put off on November 1st, 2nd, and its conflict with another food event scheduled for the same date. The committee recommended that the Community Services staff reschedule their event for later this winter or early spring. Grand Falls House application update. The committee asked about the status of the Grand Falls House application to both provincial and federal government departments. The Director informed the committee that the application has been successfully submitted to both levels of government and will follow up with them both in the coming months. Fall Family Fun Day. The committee reviewed the information on the Fall Family Fun Day. The committee recommended promoting the event through our communications officer and other media outlets. New business. The Director informed the committee that all preschool, family, and general skating will be scheduled to start in the coming weeks. Also, shinny hockey will be offered twice a week running out of Windsor Stadium and will be announced in the coming weeks and posted on our Facebook page and stadium schedule. The Director also gave an update on the Central Harvest Artists event that was held in Grand Falls-Windsor from October 1st to the 7th. The group of 8 artists visited various locations around town with the goal of drawing inspiration to use toward the creation of their individual art projects. Both organisers, Bernie Stapleton and Nicole Smith, were very pleased with their experience and will be returning next year for an artist residency once again. The meeting was adjourned at 6:45 p.m. and I'll move the recommendations report of this committee.
It's been moved by Deputy Mayor Brown, seconded by Councillor Knoll. Any discussion on the community services minutes? Councillor Hiscock.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a little update on the Fall Family Day that we had last weekend. Fabulous event. There was over 1,500 people throughout the day. Horse rides, bouncy castles, and scavenger hunt, and all kinds of games and horse rides, like I said. Just an outstanding job by our staff, Mr. Todd Mercer and his staff, with Rod Drake and Rhonda Drake and Angela Daw. Just a great job. It was more than I thought was going to be there for sure. Thank you.
Yeah, no, I wasn't able to get down myself, but I did. My daughter actually went with the kids, and she said it was fantastic. Everything was fun, and everybody was having a great time. And of course, the weather was fantastic the weekend as well. So it's nice to see. And thanks to everybody involved for that. Deputy Mayor Brown.
And 1,500 people attended that event Saturday, which is tremendous. Good section of the committee. With respect to the Christmas light up at Church Road Park on December 6th and the Santa Claus parade on December 7th. And it says I'm chair, but I'm co-chair. Wanda Healy is also chairing the Santa Claus Parade Committee, as she has had it for the past 8 years, I think it has been. So just wanted to make that note.
Good, thanks. Any other comments on the community services? Hearing none. Just one quick comment on the wellness fair that's referred to there, and that's something that I did get to attend. I think a lot of us got to get down there at some point from 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock on that day. And fantastic to see the number of people and talking to the folks down there who really love the socialization part. You know, people were away who were home that got to see loved ones and friends that they hadn't seen for years, and they really, I think 3 people told me it felt like a reunion to them when it came to school and that, so it was great to see. The only thing, I guess, is we only have it once a year, and I know we do lots of things for seniors, and we do have a monthly seniors event, but we may want to think about maybe adding another big event like that, given the success and the fact that they do get so much positive socialization out of it. Something to discuss in future committee. Okay, if there's no other comments, mover and a seconder, all those in favor? Aye. Contrary-minded? Motion carried. Public Works and Development, Councillor Cody, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Public Works and Development met on Wednesday, October 9th at 5 o'clock. In attendance, myself as the chairperson, Councillor Bob Hiscock, Deputy Mayor Mike Brown, Councillor Andrew Little, Councillor Dave Knoll, staff Darren Finn, Chief Administrative Officer, Robin Hannaford, Communications Officer, and Nelson Chapman, Director of Public Works and Development. Water quality. The committee was updated on recent reports of water discoloration and the results of weekly water samples. The reported issues were linked to construction on Hill Road and hydrant repairs on Queen Street. While the latest samples show positive results with satisfactory chlorine and iron levels, some sporadic instances of discoloration persist in these areas. The final flushing valves are expected to arrive in November, and the annual flushing program remains on hold until source water levels recover. The committee recommends continuing regular sampling and installing all valves as soon as they arrive. Housing needs assessment. The committee reviewed the final draft of the HART, H-A-R-T, report on the housing needs assessment for Grand Falls-Windsor. Key findings include 590 households in the community face housing challenges, with low-income earners, single individuals, and renters being the most affected. The population is aging, with a shift towards more 1 to 2 person households and fewer 3+ person households. The population is projected to grow by 11% by 2031, adding approximately 680 households. There is an increasing demand for more affordable housing, including tiny homes. Maintaining existing homes is essential, along with building more apartments and considering row housing developments. Pursuing federal and provincial funding opportunities is recommended. The committee suggests using this report to guide future community planning. Currently, Council has allocated land for affordable housing with smaller lots. Staff are also identifying areas for future development, with some already receiving approval in principle. Circular Road handrail. The committee discussed the condition of the handrail on Circular Road. While the southern section of the road previously had a continuous rail, only the railings at residential steps were scheduled for replacement as part of the capital project completed in 2023. Adding the remaining sections of rail is estimated to cost an additional $40,000 based on previous estimates. The committee recommends reinstalling the rail in its original condition as it was before the capital project, using the remaining capital funds. Permit statistics. The committee reviewed the permit statistics through the end of September 2024. A total of 236 permits have been issued, covering repairs, accessory buildings, and new residential and commercial constructions, reflecting a 12.3% increase compared to the same period in 2023. Among these, 12 permits were for new residential units or renovations, resulting in 15 new housing units, a 200% increase from the 5 units added in 2023. CCBF proposals. The committee reviewed 5 applications prepared by staff to seek funding through the Canada Community Building Fund for the Regional Water Treatment Plant. The applications listed in order of priority include orthophosphate corrosion inhibitor system, sludge drying bed, 24-inch waterline inspection, filter replacement, and alum tank replacement. If approved under the program, the funding will cover 100% of the project costs, ensuring no expense for residents across the communities that rely on the plant for clean drinking water. The committee recommends approving the applications and preparing a resolution for the next public council meeting. Property inspections. The committee reviewed the latest record of property inspections conducted by the department, with approximately 90 inspections on file, 43 of which have been resolved. These inspections ensure compliance with town regulations. The committee recommends that staff continue to follow up on outstanding issues and maintain enforcement of the regulations. Additionally, the committee suggests that these reports be provided on a regular basis for ongoing monitoring. Proposed housing areas. The committee reviewed a proposed future development in the Corduroy Brook area, which is currently undergoing zoning for residential use. The proposal has the potential to create 289 housing lots. The committee recommends approving the proposal in principle. Pedestrian lights. The committee reviewed the results of the RFP for the supply of solar-powered pedestrian lights. 3 bidders participated, with Construction Signs Limited submitting the lowest acceptable bid of $18,340.60 plus HST. This RFP will provide 2 sets of lights to be installed in the town. The committee recommends awarding the contract to Construction Signs Limited. The meeting was adjourned at 7:10 p.m. and I move the recommendations and the report of the committee.
Thank you, Councillor Cody. Do we have any seconders? Councillor Knoll? Any discussion? Councillor Cody?
Just one item I wanted to touch on, the Circular Road handrail. There was some healthy discussion at our meeting on that handrail. Me being the odd person out, I guess, on proceeding with the replacement of that rail. I understand the committee's concerns about the safety aspects and whatnot. The cost to replace that rail is $40,000. And we did survey the residents in the area whose homes are adjacent to where that rail was installed previously. all but one, I think, in the area who was not affected by where the rail began and ended, were fine with that rail not being replaced. I'm not disagreeing that it's a safety issue. That is a very steep embankment. My question was, does it have to be rushed? Are there alternatives that could be used in place of the railing? Are there less expensive resources that could be used, as a safety barrier for that area? So I just wanted to bring it up. We're heading into fall now. We would have to go to tender for that amount of money. So the tender would be at least 30 days. Then once the tender was awarded, those railings would have to be fabricated. So we'd probably be into spring before that rail was installed anyway. So I did feel personally that there was time to look at other alternatives, given that it would probably be spring before, anything happened there. So I just wanted to say my piece on that. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. I didn't attend the meeting, of course. I was out for a while there with some sickness, like a lot of people around town, it appears. But I agree with you, Councillor Cody, and I'm not going to say too much on it because I don't have the benefit of all the discussion and that, or councillors to say their piece back either, but it seems to me $40,000 for a length of rail that arguably may or may not be needed, or what level needs to be there, is a lot of money. So I'm not sure if there's any other options there, or if, like Councillor Cody suggested, we could wait to do that and maybe find another less expensive alternative. Deputy Mayor?
Thank you, Mayor. I certainly would have been one of the ones advocating for the rail. Went down to visit that area. If you're walking down Circular Road, you remember that black rail that went through 8 or 10 houses, I guess. And the reason the rail was there in the first place was because in some of those areas there's a 20 to 30 foot drop from the sidewalk to the ground. And I suspect that's why the rail was there in the first place. I don't think there's any room for any delays. I think it's a safety hazard as we speak. It could be a kid walking down, the sidewalk's not that wide, 3-4 feet. And if the kid wanders off the sidewalk, he's dropping 30, or he or she is dropping 30 to 40 feet. Really?
I don't know. Like I said,
Yeah, no. And that is the case.
Yeah, sure.
That is the
Absolutely.
case. So not only have we not got time to put tenders out, I thought the rail should have been replaced as soon as the project was.
Well, that's my question I was going to ask.
Replaced.
Why wasn't it there to begin with?
And with respect to the residents down there, most of the residents that were surveyed don't use the front of their properties because their properties are down 30 to 40 feet from the sidewalk. Everybody uses behind to get their driveways behind, etc. And if we were going by neighborhood surveys, we would never have a roundabout down on Grenfell Heights, right? So this is about safety for kids, adults, seniors, everybody else. The rail should be replaced ASAP. We haven't got time for tenders, unfortunately, for this particular project. And I'm happy that the council are proceeding with the replacement of the rail because it is a safety feature, and everybody that lives down there would tell you the same, and anybody that walks that area would tell you the same. It's a really steep fall from the sidewalk to people's gardens. And that's why I advocated for it and continue to do so, and happy to say the rail will be replaced.
Yeah, thanks. And again, I just want to reiterate that I wasn't there, so I didn't have the benefit of hearing that. I didn't know how the discussion went at all until I read the minutes previously to the meeting. And my question would have been what you had said, and not sure why it wasn't done at the beginning. And I don't know, I know the rail. I mean, I've walked down there myself as a child, especially millions of times, and I do know the severe drop, but I'm not, I don't know exactly where we're talking about there, But in the meantime, I certainly trust your judgment, and I'll be supporting that tonight to move forward. Yeah. Anybody else comments on that or anything else? No? We're going to move. Yeah. Councillor Cody.
Just to clarify, I never said it wasn't a safety issue, and I didn't say I wasn't supporting it. I just questioned if there were options, alternate options, and time we have to go to tender, correct? Mr. Director, we have to go to tender. It's not an option. So that time is there. Again, I do agree it's a possible safety hazard, but again, I just wanted to look at alternatives.
Yeah, no, thanks for clarifying. That's definitely a practical point. Okay, any other comments, discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. Contrary minded? Motion carried. Okay, next up, corporate services. Counselor Dwyer, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Corporate Services met Thursday, October 10th, 2024 at 5 p.m. Chairing the meeting, Councillor Dave Knoll, Councillor Amy Cody as member, Deputy Mayor Mike Brown, Councillor Bob Hiscock, Councillor Andrew Little. Staff in attendance were Darren Finn, our CAO, Robin Hannaford, Communications Officer, and Steve Goss, Director of Corporate Services. Labor report. The committee reviewed the labor costs as of week 37. Total labor was $2,893,239. This was $276,765, or 8.7% under budget. The committee is pleased with labor costs remaining under budget and asks staff to continue to monitor labor costs as we approach layoff for our seasonal employees. Disbursement report. The committee reviewed the disbursement report in the amount of $2,088,256.12 and recommends this be presented at the next council meeting. Taxation receivables analysis. The committee reviewed the taxation receivables analysis as of September 30th, 2024. The total taxes receivable at that date is $4,169,771 compared to $3,736,331 in 2023, an increase of 11.6%. September's numbers are misleading due to the pre-authorized payments that normally come in on the 30th of every month being delayed until October 1st due to the Truth and Reconciliation holiday. If that amount were included, the total outstanding amounts would be $3,940,991, which would represent a 5.5% increase over 2023. Collection plans are underway for amounts in arrears, and the committee discussed alternative options, including tax sales and the use of collection agencies. It remains a priority of council to improve the collection of outstanding tax balances. The committee encourages all residents and businesses to ensure they pay their outstanding balances as soon as possible or contact staff at the town hall to set up a payment plan. Interest continues to accrue monthly on outstanding tax balances, so please act quickly to avoid additional interest charges. Town Hall wheelchair lift. The committee reviewed an open call for bids for the replacement of a wheelchair lift at the Town Hall. There were 0 bids received. However, while completing research for this purchase, staff were able to obtain a quote for this custom work from Lawton's Home Healthcare. However, they did not provide a bid to the open call. After discussions with the vendor, this quote remains valid. Staff have determined that no other sources are available for this purchase and that the price is reasonable given past purchases, an estimated budget of $60,000. The committee recommends awarding the wheelchair lift for the Town Hall to Lawton's Home Healthcare in the amount of $68,000 plus HST. Councillor Cody excused herself from 6 p.m. to 6:10 due to a perceived conflict of interest as the President of Municipalities Newfoundland Labrador. Revised budget. The committee reviewed the revised budget as presented by the Director for the 2024 year. The excess of revenues over expenditures were budgeted to be $434,750, and the revised budget expects that number to decrease by $278,414. In addition to the net cost of capital purchases this year is expected to be $3,451,815 compared to the originally budgeted $5,198,775. Overall, this reduces our expected borrowing by $1,590,624 to approximately $3,173,401. The committee recommends staff prepare the required resolution for the borrowing amount for the next council meeting. Preliminary budget discussions. The committee had a brief discussion on the expectations for the upcoming budget season. Committee looks forward to seeing budget requests in the coming weeks. The meeting adjourned at 6:45 p.m., and I move the recommendations and report of this committee.
Okay, I should have mentioned that there was two sets of corporate services minutes, but for this first one, we have a mover and looking for a seconder. Councillor Little, any discussion on the corporate services minutes, number one? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. Aye. Contrary minded? Motion carried. Councillor Cody will excuse us now for a second while we deal with the second set of minutes for corporate services, and when you're ready, Councillor Dwyer.
Thank you, Mayor. This 10-minute meeting was held at 6 p.m. Thursday, October 10th, 2024. Councillor Dave Knoll chaired, Councillor Deputy Mayor Brown, Mike Brown, Councillor Bob Hiscock, Councillor Andrew Little, staff in attendance Robin Hannaford, Steve Goss, and Darren Finn. Support of Central Hospitality Night. The committee reviewed a request for financial support towards the Central Hospitality Night, which is part of the 2024 M&L Conference Trade Show and AGM from November 7th to the 9th. Councillor Cody excused herself for this portion of the meeting due to a perceived conflict of interest, as she is the president of M&L. The committee recommends supporting this event in the amount of $500. The meeting adjourned at 6:10 p.m.
Okay, thank you. It's been moved by Councillor Dwyer, seconded by Councillor Hiscock. Any discussion on the second set of corporate services minutes? Hearing none, well, I'll just make a quick comment, I guess, before that, just to let people know that this is something that is normal expenditure for the town and for other towns as well in other areas. When these meetings are held for M&L, municipalities will sponsor different events throughout the conference and other little things, so it's not something that's you know, a one-off or anything. This is something that we've done previously, and obviously Councillor Cody, as the president, has to excuse herself just because of the $500 financial benefit to, in this case, M&L. Okay, no other comments? Oh yeah, no, I thought you were going to say something. No? Okay, you got two. All those in favor? Aye. Aye. Contrary minded? Motion carried. Yes, please, Councillor Hiscock, if you would. Okay, we'll move on to Committee of the Whole. Deputy Mayor Brown, please.
Committee of the Whole met 5 p.m. Tuesday, October 15, 2024. Those in attendance were myself as chair, Councillor Amy Cody, Councillor Holly Dwyer, Councillor Bob Hiscock, Councillor Andrew Little, and Councillor Dave Knoll. Staff in attendance included Darren Finn, our Chief Administrative Officer, Steve Goss, Director of Corporate Services, Nelson Chapman, our Director of Public Works and Development, Todd Mercer, Director of Community Services, and Robin Hannaford, our Communications Officer. First order of business is the Fire Underwriter Survey. Staff reported that the Fire Underwriter Survey for 2024 was completed with no change in the grading assigned to Grand Falls-Windsor. The community has maintained its dwelling protection grade classification of 2, which will remain in place until the next update in 5 years. Additionally, the public fire protection classification for 2024 is a grade 5, which will also remain for the next 5 years. The results of the Fire Underwriter Survey influence insurance premiums for homeowners. MEO appointments. The committee discussed the housekeeping required for council to reaffirm the appointment of individual municipal enforcement officers as they are hired. While the Chief Administrative Officer has the authority to appoint new MEOs in accordance with Article 179, Clause 2 of the Municipalities Act, the committee recommends that resolutions for reaffirming the appointment of the last 2 MEOs be drafted for the next council meeting. Capital Investment Plan application. The committee discussed a regional water initiative requiring council support for an application. A recent detailed inspection of the regional water tanks noted several deficiencies, in the backwash welded steel tank. The upgrades include the removal of existing coatings and applying new coatings with an estimated cost of $880,000. The committee recommends adding this project to the list of priorities and applying for funding. Changes to the municipal plan and development regulations. The committee reviewed Amendment Number 10, 2024 to the municipal plan and Amendment Number 14, 2024 to the development regulations. If approved, these amendments will allow for an additional 3 accessory residential dwelling units on a lot with a principal residence, including subsidiary apartments, garden suites, or garage apartments, subject to development standards. Residential lot coverage may increase from 40% to 50% for lots with garden suites only, and development standards for apartments, townhouse development, and cluster developments in high-density residential zones have been clarified. Request to rezone land adjacent to 8 13th Avenue. The committee discussed a request to rezone land adjacent to 8 13th Avenue from public use to low and medium density multi-unit residential, RM1. The committee recommends council support the municipal plan amendment number 14, 2024 to rezone the parcel from public use to urban residential in the future generalized land use map from public use to residential RM1. The committee recommends council approval of the amendment and submission for a Section 15 review. 11 Glenwood Avenue home-based business permit. The committee discussed a request for a home-based business permit for a short-term rental operation at 11 Glenwood Avenue. Short-term rentals are a discretionary use in the single-unit small lot residential zone. A notice was mailed to adjacent property owners and posted on the town's social media with no objections received. The committee recommends approval of this business permit subject to the requirements of Service NL and a future town inspection. Committee structure. The committee discussed changes to the current committee structure in preparation for alignment with the new Towns and Local Service Districts Act. The committee recommends dissolving the current committee structure and instituting a schedule of Committee of the Whole meetings. Members of council will become leads in various aspects of engagement with administration and the community. The committee also recommends that staff explore management software options to implement a solution for managing public meetings and develop a schedule for the new meeting structure. Departmental leads will be recommended by the mayor at future committee meeting. Road painting. The committee discussed concerns regarding the longevity of the reflective glass beads in the road paint, noting they do not last long. The committee recommends that staff investigate this issue. Cell phone coverage in town. Members of council reported ongoing concerns from the public regarding poor cell phone coverage in town. The committee recommends that staff write to the Premier's office and draft a letter to Goody Hutchings, the Federal Minister of Rural Development, to address these concerns. The meeting adjourned at 7:27 p.m. and I move the recommendations and report of this committee.
Okay, it's been moved by Deputy Mayor Brown, second by Councilor Hiscock. Any discussion on the Committee of the Whole minutes? Yeah, Councilor Knoll?
Just about cell phone coverage in town again, we've had some dialogue with providers. They tell us that things are being changed and they're tweaking this and working on this and re-angling this, but I don't know if it's all just song and dance to keep us pacified because, it's still, I don't know if it's better today than it was 10 months ago. Like I was on a business call this afternoon. I live on Gravel Heights and dropped a call, had to go upstairs, and even just doesn't matter where you go, I guess, around town. To me, I think it's a song and dance. I don't know if we can take it to the next level perhaps as a community. I know that the school down there is the same way. It's almost like we're in no man's land. it's a huge safety issue, and I keep chirping at people to get involved in phone, you don't got to phone your MHAs and MPs, et cetera. On our town Facebook page, we have the numbers to call. Please reach out. If you live in an area that's you believe is inadequately serviced, just speak up. 'Cause, I mean, the cell phone service, we pay a lot of money for our cell phones here. You know, they don't come cheap, but I think it's just a huge safety issue. I mean, like working out of town between Badger and Southbrook, it's no man's land. You just don't get any service there at all. By North Arm again, you know, it's just a huge safety issue, and we're paying a lot of money for it, but we need more and more bodies to get vocal and to phone the providers and get on their case and rattle a few cages and see if we can get some better coverage faster. Thanks, Mayor.
Yeah, it seems like it's getting worse instead of better. There are other areas that seem to be bad, according to some individuals that I talked to. And, you know, it's hard to believe that in this day and age, after so many years of having this service available, that a stretch of highway like Badger to Southbrook, you would not be able to make a phone call, especially if you were in need. So, you know, it's a great point. I know Tulip Drive in that area too is not good. I had spoken to the owner of the pet shop out there, and he was having trouble because, of course, he couldn't get any service for his internet and that, which is essential these days when you're running a business. So, you know, people, let's get together and call open line and get everybody mobilized and see if you can put some pressure on them, because they are hard to move. You know, those big companies, they do tend to say, yeah, we're working on it, but we never know when that is going to be resolved. Did you have something, Councillor Dwyer? Yeah.
It's a safety issue, but it's also an education issue. It's a business issue. It's a tourism issue, and it's embarrassing. Yep.
We're told that they've upgraded a number of towers to 5G, et cetera, but I mean, I should have taken some screenshots on my phone over the past couple of weeks. I mean, like I was down like 3G in some communities around Newfoundland. I mean, it is pathetic, right? It really is.
Agreed. Okay, yeah, Councillor Cody.
And on that as well. I've had comments as well, like in main areas of town where there has never been trouble with service, there is now trouble. Hardy Avenue, for instance, in my own home, I never used to have trouble with internet. A lot of times now when I'm on my phone, I'll look and notice I'm on data in my own house where I have Wi-Fi and internet connection. So there's definitely something that's happening. There was a gentleman on VOCM this morning talking about cell service on the East Coast Trail network and just cautioning people, you think you're safe when you go with your cell phone. He said there's probably like 5 kilometers of that trail where there is no cell service. And then people's batteries are dying because it's constantly roaming, looking for a signal. So like he was trying to educate people, when you're going hiking, make sure that you have, you know, extra batteries with you, battery chargers, flashlights, safety gear and things like that, because if you twist your ankle or something like that on the trail, if you're alone, you're waiting for someone to come find you, and then they have to go out again to get you assistance because they can't make a phone call to let someone know, you know, that you need assistance. So it's right across the province. But I mean, here in Grand Falls-Windsor, there has been a noticeable decline in service, not an improvement.
Yep. No, obviously, to hear all of us have those comments and hearing from so many people, it is a significant issue. Okay, just one comment there for me. The note there about the MEOs, and we've got new MEOs in the last 6 months to a year. Craig Breen has been with us for probably close to a year now, and I'm so glad to see that we've got a female in a position that traditionally dominated by males, at least in Grand Falls-Windsor, and I suspect in other communities as well. So it's nice to see Heidi Wells on board, and her and Craig, and of course Russ Thibault, who's already there, I think make a great department, and they will do great work, including the new one. So congratulations on coming on, and welcome. Okay, if there's no other comments, On the Committee of the Whole minutes, we'll ask for a vote. All those in favor? Aye. Contrary-minded? Motion carried. We do have 3 resolutions. Deputy Mayor Brown, you are going to take care of the first one.
Thank you, Mayor. GFW 2024-403 Resolution, Town of Grand Falls, Windsor. Council resolution confirming the appointments of municipal enforcement officers. Whereas Section 179, Clause 2 of the Municipalities Act 1999 authorizes the appointment of municipal enforcement officers by the Town Council for the purpose of enforcing regulations made under the authority delegated by the Highway Traffic Act and the Municipalities Act. And whereas the Town of Grand Falls, Windsor previously hired Heidi Wells on September 16, 2024, and Craig Breen on June 5, 2023 as municipal enforcement officers. Be it resolved that the Town Council of the Town of Grand Falls, Windsor hereby reaffirms the appointment of Heidi Wells and Craig Breen as municipal enforcement officers for the purpose of enforcing regulations under the authority delegated by the Highway Traffic Act, the Municipalities Act as per Section 179, Clause 2, and other relevant legislation identified under Section 414 of the Municipalities Act 1999 to the extent provided for under each piece of legislation. And I propose this resolution, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, it's been proposed by Deputy Mayor Brown, seconded by Councilor Little. Any discussion on the first resolution? Hearing none. All those in favor? Aye. Contrary-minded? Resolution passed. Okay, resolution number 2, I believe Councilor Dwyer, you're going to take care of that one as well as the third?
Thank you, Mayor. Resolution GFW 2024-404, Canada Community Building Fund, Provincial Water and Wastewater Initiative Fund. Whereas the Town of Grand Falls, Windsor qualifies for funding under the Canada Community Fund Administrative Agreement, particularly the Provincial Water and Wastewater Initiative Fund, and whereas all spending under this agreement must be used to improve the Exploits Regional Water Supply Committee assets, therefore be it resolved that the Town of Grand Falls, Windsor, as managers of the ERWSC, approves applications for funding under the Canada Community Building Fund, Provincial Water and Wastewater Initiative Fund for the following projects in order of priority. Orthophosphate corrosion inhibitor system, $526,316. Sludge drying bed, $1,570,377. 24-inch water line inspection, $1,337,360. Filter replacement, $2,916,524. Alum tank replacement, $104,391. And backwash tank upgrades, $976,164.
Okay, it's been proposed by Councilor Dwyer.
Yeah.
And we're looking for a seconder. Deputy Mayor Brown, any discussion on the second resolution? Hearing none. All those in favor? Aye. Contrary-minded? Resolution passed. Councilor Dwyer, you're up again when you're ready.
Thank you, Mayor. Resolution GFW 2024-405. Whereas under Section 94 of the Municipalities Act of the Province of Newfoundland Labrador, subject to the approval of the Minister, Council may borrow monies and issue securities for the repayment of monies borrowed. And whereas it is deemed necessary to borrow, in addition to existing credit facilities, the amount of $3,173,401 in relation to 2024 capital projects as per the attached schedule. And therefore be it resolved that subject to the approval of the Honourable Minister of Municipal and Provincial Affairs, Council borrow this amount from CIBC Charter Bank in Grand Falls, Windsor, and that this amount be borrowed over a 2-year term with a 15-year amortization period. Be it also resolved that the Mayor and Director of Corporate Services / Town Clerk be authorized to negotiate said loan and to sign promissory notes and execute all documents pertaining to this resolution.
It's proposed by Councillor Dwyer, seconded by Deputy Mayor Brown. Any discussion on the third resolution? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. Contrary minded? Resolution passed. Any notice of motion? No notice of motion. We'll move into other business. And I missed a meeting. I'm lost now. I think Councillor Hiscock is up first.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a few items. One is coming up soon, bonfire night. We're going to have a bonfire, community bonfire at the old Red Cliff Rocks area just west of the town. It's going to be another great event, and the town and the community services group have a bunch of events planned, so I stress to the citizens, keep an eye on our Facebook page and for all upcoming events. Also, Mr. Mayor, is that we'll also be participating in a trunk or treat for the Autism Society, October the 30th at the Y2C building on Bond Street. So that's another event we have. Also, Mr. Mayor, we have a flag raising Friday at 11:45 for the Poppy campaign, which is going to be started. And I strongly ask that the residents wear a poppy in honor of those who paid the supreme sacrifice, those who are serving and who have served. November the 11th, the parade will line up at the Armory at 10:30. Parade will move off at 10:45 to the Cenotaph for the service. So I just ask everybody that coming now, be aware of the start of the Poppy campaign. Thank you, Mayor.
Very important. Thanks, Councillor Hiscock. Councillor Little.
Thank you, Mayor. The Queen Street Dinner Theatre, tickets are on sale now for the Christmas show that is happening from December 1st to December 7th. You can book online by going to queenstreetdinnertheatre.com or Googling Queen Street Dinner Theatre, or by calling 1-877-822-7469. The producer, John Thompson, promises it's going to be a really good show again this year. The Christmas show always sells out, I should say. So if someone is interested, they should do it very quickly because you might not get a spot otherwise. Besides that, the AAA U18 mid-season tournament is here this weekend. There's about 20 games featuring all the teams in the province. Our central team the rankings have just come out for Atlantic Canada, and our central team is ranked, based out of Grand Falls-Windsor, is ranked 7th, which is incredible, really. There's only 2 teams from Newfoundland on that list, and the other one is the Growlers and St. John's. I think they're in 4th, and our central team just had a 2-game series against them, in which each team won a game and a shootout. So very close games. So they're right there with the best. So if we can get out and support our team in that, yes, it was the roughest, toughest, fastest hockey around, really. And it's, there's a lot of Grand Falls-Windsor residents, young people playing on that team. And the team has also brought people in from Labrador and other communities that live in our town now because of the team is here. Just goes to show how much the program has grown since I was there, and people used to move out of our town to go to other places to play AAA, and now they're coming here. So it goes to show that the program's grown, and it's going to be a good tournament. It's going to be a good weekend. Both stadiums are used for that, correct? Hopefully. Both stadiums will be in use for that, and it's going to be a jam-packed weekend, so hopefully people get out and support our local team, and that's all. Thank you.
Yeah, mechanical issues and otherwise are something that pop up and unexpected and can't be helped, and we've been having some of those as Mr. Mercer is kind of chuckling, but he's chuckling because of the frustration and the problems that he's been experiencing with the arenas in recent weeks. But they're ready to go now, and it's going to be a great weekend of hockey, and again, it's good hockey to watch, so get out and support the central team. Councillor Dwyer.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple of things. The Association for New Canadians, Grand Falls-Windsor, in collaboration with College of North Atlantic and the town of Grand Falls-Windsor, is having a Diwali celebration, which is a Hindu festival of light celebration. And that's happening on October 30th at 11:30 to 1:30 at the College of North Atlantic, and everyone is welcome. I'd like to give a shout out, thank Wayne Thomas and the crowd with the community garden. It's closed up for the year, and everyone has cleaned out their beds, I hope. They certainly have been reminded to if they haven't. But it was a very successful year. Loved the community garden. And if anyone is interested in getting a bed for next year, they can get put on the wait list. I know they have done a tremendous job, supporting the food bank and that sort of thing. And it's just a really nice atmosphere there. And anyone can get a bed. You just have to put your name on the list. And if you're wondering how to get in contact with Wayne Thomas, you can either contact Amy or I or Todd Mercer. I'm sure he'll put you through. They had a youth development person over there this year, Sarah McDonald, who did a great job as well. So thank you to Sarah. Last but not least, Leon Gibbons was the special Olympian of the Athlete of the Year this year for Special Olympics Newfoundland. So that's quite an honor, and congratulations to Liam. He's a very talented young man, and congratulations to him, very well deserved. Thank you.
Glad to see it. And we'd like to get him in. Hey, we talked about getting him into a meeting and recognizing that big achievement. And I've said it here before, and anybody knows him knows anyway, but he can beat anybody in bowling. He's a superb bowler. He's after having a couple times he came one shot away from a perfect game, I think, like just 12 out of 13 balls or strikes. It's just crazy. So great for Liam, for sure. Deputy Mayor Brown.
Mayor, and with Councillor Dwyer's comments there, we also had some golfers go to the Provincial Special Olympics golf tournament a few weekends ago. So I think I agree with you, Mayor. We should get all the Special Olympics in and give them a little shout out, maybe at the next public council meeting. I think would be a good idea. Household Hazardous Waste Day is this Saturday, October 26th. If you get any household hazard waste home you'd like to get rid of between the hours of 8 a.m. and 3:30 p.m. at Shenandoah Centennial Field. Always a useful day for the residents of Grand Falls-Windsor, and I expect some of the surrounding areas. I know the Director Chapman there spoke about this day on many occasions, said that it was a worthwhile event, and lots of residents in Grand Falls get rid of old batteries and old wiring and old paint, stuff like that. So that's open from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. on Saturday, this Saturday coming at Shenandoah Centennial Field, and Halloween is coming. And we ask the residents to take special caution during that particular evening and watch out for all the town's children going door to door collecting treats. And not that you shouldn't be careful every evening, but particularly on this evening where there's excess kids. All the kids in town of Grand Falls-Windsor will be out and trick-or-treating. So good luck to everybody and stay safe. Thank you, Mayor.
I'm getting a bag of chips. Apparently you can't find any chips anywhere. Do you? We'll be down your place then. We'll go on the halves. I got some treats, but I couldn't get any chips yet. There's a shortage, apparently. Okay. Councillor Cody, when you're ready.
It's that time of year again. It's flu shot time. So I did get mine this evening, actually, myself and my daughter, Teresa. But you can go to the website timefortheshot.ca, and you can scroll down to the central region and you can book your appointment online, or you can call 1-833-961-3749. And again, it was St. Joseph's Parish Hall where I got my flu shot tonight. That's usually where they have the clinic set up. But again, they have them set up all over central Newfoundland, different dates and times. So I would encourage people to get your flu shot or your COVID booster as well. The Harmsworth Public Library is having a book sale on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, October 24th, 25th, and 26th. October 24th, it'll go from 9 a.m. to 7:30. October 25th, 9 a.m. to 4:30, and October 26th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. You can purchase as many books as you like for a donation. The Newfoundland and Labrador books, they do sell them for $2 just because they're so special. But any other book there, you can fill a bag, you can fill a box, you can fill a trunk of your car if you want to for a donation. So I would encourage residents and avid readers to check out the book sale. All the proceeds from the book sale go to programming that the Harmsworth Public Library does. So their Christmas social that they have for seniors, and they'll bring entertainment in and have snacks. Their reading programs, sometimes they'll have authors come in promoting their books, reading from their own literature. They buy games, puzzles, all kinds of different activities that happen there at the library. So all of the money from the book sale go towards supporting the programs by the library. And we can tell the evenings are certainly closing in quickly. And I would just encourage residents, and I know Councillor Knoll does it all the time as well, please wear something reflective. I was driving up Grenfell Heights just the other night, and there was two people like almost on opposite sides of the road, almost in the same positions. One had no reflective clothing on, and the other one had on a reflective vest, and it was like night and day. I could barely see the person on the left, and the person on the right was lit up like a Christmas tree. So it's just so important, and we take for granted now, like we might go for a walk when it's daylight and think I'm not going to need my reflectors, but it gets dark so quickly that before you get home, it's dark and you don't have any reflective clothing on. Even if you have a light shirt on, it's still very, very difficult to see you without something reflective on. So put it on your pet, put it on yourself. Just please be sure to have something reflective on, just to ensure your safety and as well to protect the drivers on the roads as well, to make sure that, you know, they can spot you as well. Thank you.
Yeah, no, very important. Councillor Knoll.
Just thinking to myself, well, Councillor Cody was talking about, you know, driving down Grenfell Heights. I feel your pain. I feel it every day pretty well. And, you know, always on the go. I can't think of, I mean, like all these moms and dads, I mean, you know, you want the best for your child, you know, put something reflective on them. And when they leave the house, I mean, the book bags, lots of them have the book bags on and their hoodies are up and they probably got earbuds in. I don't know if they all know what side of the road that they're supposed to walk on or ride their bicycle on. And lots of times, as Councillor Hiscock and I were just discussing, I mean, lots of times the only thing we see is the reflective pieces on their pedals as they're going down the road at night. You know, we don't want anybody, you know, getting hurt, maimed, or worse while out for an enjoyable walk in the evening, because it is nice. I mean, weather's beautiful, and a nice, crisp, cool evening here. Just dress sensibly. Put on something reflective and, you know, have your wits about you. You're going to be out on that white line adjacent to the free-flowing traffic when there's lots of room on Grenfell Heights to walk on the paved curb, that sort of thing. So to that point, thanks for bringing that up again. Small Business Week is October 20th to the 26th, and I encourage residents, you know, wherever possible, to shop local and support your local businesses. And I say that because as a business owner, you know, we get inundated by requests and asks and all that sort of stuff. We try to accommodate as much as we can. It's the small businesses that sponsor your, you know, your little gymnastics event or your swimming event or your Tiddlywinks tournament. You know, they're always, you know, giving to the community. So the more that you can give back to them, it's a cycle. It's a monetary cycle, and if the money leaves the community, that's some of the money that perhaps won't get spent on your child or your friends, colleagues, events. And I encourage people to think when they spend their money, if at all possible, to support local wherever you can. I'd like to reiterate, as Deputy Mayor mentioned, this is Household Hazards Week or Day, Saturday. I don't know if they smile when they see me coming, you know, once a year with a bag of batteries, but you know, I'll just drive by. It's almost like a takeout, and I put my arm out and bag of batteries, the boys give you the head nod, and I drive away. And it's so convenient. I mean, I encourage everybody, you know, just don't lob your battery in the garbage, put it in the bag, collect it through your pocket somewhere. And on these days, we have them twice a year. Bring your batteries out there, recycle them properly. Just want to remind people to share the harvest. I harvested all my apples. I brought in, and I had like 5 big boxes. I mean, I get several hundred pounds. Should be using kilograms. I know I should be, but anyway, I get several hundred pounds of apples, I'm sure, and I'll, you know, bring some of those down to the schools again for round 2. But driving around town, I noticed the other day out on the corner of Coronation Street and 13th Avenue. I mean, there's a massive apple tree there. So if some student, wants to go and pick some of those apples and bring them down to the schools, or school in plural, that counts for community contribution hours. And I was told that they're great tasting apples. I haven't circled back, haven't had time to circle back to nibble one off the tree and try it myself. But share the harvest. If you've got it, share the harvest. And to that little point about community contribution hours, I mean, there's lots of students on school for numerous reasons that they don't have all their community contribution hours. By the time they finish in grade 12, they've got the coursework done, but they don't have the hours. So if you have a lawn that needs to be raked and you're an elderly or a senior citizen, or you have some ability challenges and you need some assistance, reach out to me, or reach out to the principal down to the high school, and we can get you some assistance. And everybody wins there. They get projects done around their house, and students get community contribution hours, which are critical. So something to think about. Thanks, Mayor.
Well, thanks, and great advice. And just to carry on with that theme, I guess it is getting close to Christmas, and we always talk about being the giving season, and we know, as usual, our food bank is always very much in need of donations. Donations of monetary donations, or donations of non-perishable food items. If you want some specifics, I'm sure people at Food Bank would be happy to discuss maybe what they would like to get, so that they are evening things out and can help as many people as possible. It is a very difficult economic time, and Grand Falls-Windsor is not immune. Everywhere you look, there's people who are struggling. You just go to the grocery store and look at some of the prices, and you know why people are struggling and having to choose between groceries and heat. And it's not what we want or anybody wants for the community. And if you can help, even if you haven't done so before, like take a few minutes, look in your cupboards, throw some things in the bag, if you can do so, that is, of course, and give to our food banks. There's two. The Salvation Army Food Bank is located out on Main Street, and you also have is it still on Main Street, or did they move the food bank to the other location? The food bank is there now? Yeah. Yes, yeah, okay. It used to be on Main Street there, so my mistake, but yeah, in the corner of Hardy Avenue there and Tulip Drive. And also the food bank, of course, that's across from the bowling alley underneath the surplus furniture building. And I'm not sure exactly when the hours are open now, but I'm sure you can find it if you search it. I think it's Wednesdays and Friday afternoons or something like that. And if you want, you can always drop a donation to the town hall. If anybody wants to drop it to the town hall and say, that's for the food bank, we'll make sure it does get to the destination, no problem at all. Okay, got a couple other things there. Wanted to mention in no particular order. We got a couple of retirements I noticed coming up very soon. Karen Beersford is retiring. Karen Kelly Beersford. And Karen, many people know, has been a longtime advocate for people in her vulnerable population. She works at the Family Resource Center on, the Barrow Place. There's a few different organizations. Anytime there's a coalition or any efforts to get something that is needed, whether it be, they talked about, having a shared space model that she was heavily involved in, and go on and on. But Karen is retiring at the end of the month, and I think in light of her being such a community-minded person and someone who did give back to the community in many ways, not only through her work, I wanted to congratulate Karen on her great career, and I wish her all the best on behalf of council in the future. Also, Linda Tuck. If anybody knows Linda Tuck, a lot of people do, at the RBC Royal Bank. 52 years. Linda Tuck has worked at RBC, and she's retiring. I believe it's this Friday. I'm not positive. If not, it's next Friday. But Linda, always pleasant, friendly. They're very lucky to have her as an employee over the years, and she is going to retire. Even though I think she got a few years left in her, but 52 is good enough, and I wish her all the best as well. Just want to mention, people are aware of the story of the fire in Deer Lake and the Driftwood Inn, and how a lady who has connections to Grand Falls-Windsor. I believe she lives in Bishop's Falls now, Melinda Sharp, was out on a volleyball trip with school and was awakened 7 o'clock in the morning by someone panicking next door, and her first reaction was to hop up and go into action. And she pounded on the doors and shouting and trying to get people up so that they could get out of the building. It was a serious fire. The building filled with smoke very quickly, and she even sustained a fairly serious injury on her wrist, or maybe even broken, from pounding on the doors to try to get people out. So Melinda really is a hero for what she did, and just wanted to point that out because, you know, not everybody would have did that, and not everybody would have thought that. It took, you know, quick thinking and very selfless action to go around and make sure everybody else was safe. And obviously everybody did get out safe, but it could have easily went another direction. So thanks, Melinda. You're a hero for doing that. A lot of people are going to be thinking that for a long time. We did meet with Minister Hogan a while ago, I think we mentioned, and through the Healthcare Coalition and myself and Cyril Farrell, who's the chair, we've written a lot of letters to government about different issues. I feel the healthcare is sort of a full-time job sometime. We're so lucky to have Cyril, who puts so much time and dedication into it. Councillor Dwyer serves on that committee as well. I just wanted to let you know that we got a response. I got a response in a letter that we had written to Minister Hogan, and we met with him in the council boardroom there not too long ago. I personally got a really good sense from the meeting. Like, he brought a different perspective. He was very attentive. He was very responsive. And I got a response in the letter, and I want to read a little bit of the letter just to let citizens know what is being reported to us from Minister Hogan when it comes to healthcare in Grand Falls-Windsor, because there's some promising things here, and I'm not going to read the entire letter. And we're meeting with him again this week, but it's a phone call this time on Thursday afternoon as another follow-up, so obviously he's very accessible as well. Obviously the family care team, they're still working on that. There is some progress still. You know, we've been fighting a long time, and we will get there. We will get there. And there's a RFP out now for space for a family care team, temporary space, and then there will be a RFP going out for permanent space for 20,000 square feet, is it? 20,000 square feet of space that would house our family care team, all those people that make up the positions for this idea that is a good one, but we've been unable to get the bodies in there. Also, he talks about recruitment and retention, and I'll read this part. It says, Newfoundland Health Services physician recruitment team is actively seeking physicians to practice in Grand Falls-Windsor and other communities across the province. We are pleased to announce that an emergency physician has signed an agreement to work full-time between Gander and Grand Falls-Windsor. Additionally, NL Health Services is in the process of securing another agreement to hire a second full-time emergency position for Grand Falls-Windsor. We are also pleased to advise that Newfoundland Health Services has partnered with a recruitment agency to attract primary care physicians for Grand Falls-Windsor and area. The team has met with several candidates and is currently assessing their preliminary licensing eligibility to determine if they can be licensed to practice. This is the first step in the hiring process. This year, the Central Zone hired 3 family physicians through the 12-week practice-ready assessment program. With each PRA cohort, Newfoundland Health Services recommends that at least one candidate establish a practice in Grand Falls-Windsor upon completing their assessment and obtaining their license. We are happy to advise that all 3 from this cohort are practicing in Grand Falls-Windsor. Recruiters are also actively reaching out to family medicine residents, completing their training in Central to encourage them to continue to practice in Central Newfoundland and Labrador upon their completion of their training, and they are also connecting with other family medicine residents across the province to explore potential options. And it says to, of course, people heard about this, to assist with recruitment. They have a bunch of incentives, and I won't go through all the details, but there's come home incentive, family practice programs, physician signing bonus program, the medical resident bursary program, physician recruitment incentive pilot project, family care team recruitment incentive. So obviously, you know, in that regard, government has stepped up and put forth a lot of incentives for physicians to come here and have had some success, as you can learn from what I read. And I'll end now. There is some more talk about the emergency. Another good thing I thought is that they're holding regular meetings with the employees to ensure the effective communication, and that they're working on targeted advertising for opportunities for social media. And it talks about, you know, acknowledges our efforts as a community and the events that we've been having and trying to play our part in recruitment and retention to host, you know, whether it be a little dinner or a social or an outing or, you know, we have a family, I think it was spouses event for spouses of family physicians. Zip lining, so there's, you know, and that stuff means a lot, but, you know, and they're recognizing us for that. And the last thing I'll mention is they talk about the emergency department, which obviously everybody knows. There's been a lot of talk about the emergency department, rightly so, and it's been a disaster up there for a while, quite frankly. And he says he recognizes the frustration that families and their patients are experiencing while waiting longer than expected times in emergency departments at hospitals. Work is ongoing to improve patient flow across the continuum of care and expand capacity to treat patients who require service through emergency departments. To address the current wait times at Central Newfoundland Regional Healthcare Center, a nurse practitioner-led virtual fast-track model has been implemented to expedite the treatment of lower acuity patients, which means a nurse practitioner who can deal with patients who don't necessarily need to see a physician. And according to a physician that we know, 2/3 of the patients that visit ER fit that category. So nurse practitioners are very important in that, and it's good to hear that we have that. And also, to improve communication, this is a good one, to improve communication with patients waiting in the emergency department, a care facilitator will visit the waiting room multiple times per day to provide an update on wait times to patients. So often people are left there to their own devices, and you hear that all the time. So I thought that was a good thing to read as well. And also, there's one other good news there, and it has to do, basically what it has to do with is allowing people in healthcare, like nurses, to be able to train up to nurse practitioners. And that can be done, and they will support that effort, basically. So a lot of good things. The last thing he talks about is Center of Excellence in Aging, and that's something that was mentioned in the Health Accord, that there will be centers in the province, and through Searle mainly, and the committee has been lobbying very diligently to have that center set up in Grand Falls-Windsor. So we're hopeful that when they finalize it, will happen. But a lot of good news there, and I just wanted to share it. I know it took a little bit of time, but it's important. The healthcare issue is so huge. And speaking of health, I just noted there, because you're talking about walkers and that, and I'm involved with the Corduroy Brook Trail, of course, and there are other beautiful trails in town as well. Get out and walk. Like, safe place to walk is on the trail, if you don't want to get hit by a car, especially. And, you know, I sit in the office out there many days and see the people coming and going. It's amazing the number of people that use that trail, and all kinds, shapes, and sizes. If you haven't used it before, if you haven't used it for a while, go out, take a little walk. Like, it's so beautiful this time of year with the autumn colors and the leaves, and, you know, you'll see a lot of people there socialize and be able to improve your health. And, of course, the Gorge Park Trail as well is another one. And we do have a lot of opportunities, even if you want to walk around Church Road Park and the new paved loop that we have there. Sorry I'm going on so long, but there was a few things. The last thing I'll mention is the former Abitibi property that now is in the hands of the town of Grand Falls-Windsor. And we're very happy about that, because we have been engaging with government for 9, 10-plus years to get that land, but we had to make sure that the community and the municipality was protected particularly against any kind of environmental liabilities, any financial liabilities, and not just taking on the land without making sure, you know, we're fully protected. That's not what we want our legacy to be. But with that land, the good news is that it opens up the opportunity that in years to come, we would be able to, or council, the town would be able to connect the arterial roads of Tulip Drive and Scott Avenue. So no longer would you have to weave through town to get to our downtown core. You'd be able to come off the highway from west and just drive down, and not only drive down, but have the beautiful view of the river and what the Grand Falls House and property holds. The community garden is there, the Heritage Society, the Salmon Interpretation Center, you know, Ski Chalet and Sanger Park and Gorge Park. We got so much, and the businesses downtown. That's great. But probably even more exciting is the fact that we finally are going to be able to put an ATV access that will go from the trailway to the Mill Bridge. And I said before, you know, since I've been on council, that's probably the most popular issue for sure, because we got so many people who use ATVs. And not only will that trail bring access, it'll also keep a lot of the ATVs who are now unnecessarily on our roadways, or I should say necessarily, they got no choice now, many of them. A lot of that traffic will be moved from our roadways to this new trail. And that is welcome news, I'm sure, for people, particularly in the Riverview Road, Carmelite Road area, who are used to hearing more ATVs go past their house than cars, by a lot, and of all hours of the night. So that'll help. The town has been doing work down there, and will continue to do that for the next little while. Safety is very important, and we got to make sure that there's proper signage there, that you know, everything is done so that the trail can be used safely and conveniently. And we hope, well, not we hope, we expect very much that in the coming weeks, maybe as early as 1 to 2 weeks, we will have that trail ready to go, open, and people will be able to access the trailway to the bridge and vice versa. So that's just great news. And it also would keep the big trucks in that, many of them, off our roadways. So a lot of good news there, and something that we wanted to share. And I think, yeah, that's all I have, believe it or not. I know I didn't take very long, but I'm short-winded tonight. Just kidding. Okay, I'll call for a motion to adjourn. Councillor Hiscock, second by Councillor Knoll. All those in favor? Aye. Contrary-minded? Motion carried. We'll see you next time.